I want both men and women of Africa to recognize that they are the queens and they are the kings of these nations, and they need to be proud of who they are as Africans.
Hello, this is Marco Rock. Welcome to Marco Rock TV. I am Marco, your host for Inside a Grandma, where we interview entrepreneurs, game changer, for the purpose to inspire and inform. Today I'm so thrilled to have Dr. Tererai Trent on the show. How are you, Tererai Trent?
Oh, I am so good. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
It is a pleasure.
Yeah.
Who is Dr. Tererai Trent?
Tererai Trent is a woman who comes from a long line of generations of women who were denied the right to education, the right to their dream because of various things, circumstances, including a colonial system that never respected the minorities or the black people. In fact, they were the majorities. So I always talk about my great-grandmother running with a baton of poverty, of a colonial system that oppressed her, of early marriage, of illiteracy. She runs and she hands that baton to my grandmother. My grandmother grabs the same baton, she runs and she passes it on to my mother. My mother grabs that and it lands on me. And I decided to refuse that baton, never to pass it on to the next generation. And I wrote down my dreams, buried those dreams, achieved all those dreams.
That's amazing.
It is, but as I say, I don't take credit for all that. There is something that we have to understand. We are social animals. I stand on the shoulders of others who gave me an opportunity to be where I am today.
That's amazing. How do you feel about achieving all those goals and the impact that you're making? Are you satisfied?
I can never be satisfied as long as data and statistics is telling us that there are more than 100 million kids, especially girls, who are not attending school.
Okay.
And the majority of those numbers are coming from Southern Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. Every day in my continent, 39,000 girls are married before the age of 18. I was married before the age of 18, had 4 babies before the age of 18, and I still see these numbers. My work is never finished. I always say, if I were to be a written content, I am going to be a comma in that sentence, not a period. I am going to be a comma so that the work can continue to be done even after I leave this world. So it's important to say we can never sleep, Africa, as long as we have these challenges in front of us. We can never sleep.
So how do we empower men to inspire women?
You know, I talk about the equity and equality in this world is only going to be achieved if both men and women are part of this discussion. And I think women of Africa are the game changers. If you go to Africa, the continent of Africa, women, they do so much, and yet in many societies women are not valued. And we need our men to recognize this gap, this inequality, and join hands with us, because it's going to take men, strong men who love themselves,
That's
men who are
strong men.
comfortable. Yes, men who are comfortable in their own skin to say, I have enjoyed this privilege. I need to bring women to this table, and so that we can empower or create platforms that empower women.
What keeps you going? What inspires you every day?
I don't like poverty. I also want to change the narrative of Africa. The narrative that we hear is the narrative of poverty, diseases, and war. But there is so much beauty out of Africa. There is so much wisdom. Even when I talk about this baton, the ugly baton that is passed on, there is also the passing on of the wisdom. That narrative has to be known by the world. We have to tell our stories. We have to tell the beautiful stories, what we bring in the world. Not, oh, poor Africa. No, we are stronger than what people assume.
If you had the power to make one positive change in the world, what would that be?
Stop aid and promote trade.
What will be your last advice tip to my viewers, our audience?
You know, I want your audience really to dig deep, tap into what's inside them, and find their great hunger. I always talk about these two kinds of hungers in our life. There is the little hunger, which is all about immediate gratification, driven by self-blame, self-hate. There's a lot of self-hating amongst our people. But when they tap into the great hunger, ultimately they become more joyful and they become more creative. And I want both men and women of Africa to recognize that they are the queens and they are the kings of these nations, and they need to be proud of who they are as Africans.
Dr. Trent, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate your wisdom
You're welcome.
and your teaching. We are very grateful to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah.